Well, look who is here. Cousin Ken Castro, how you doing? Good to see you, cuz. Great to see you. Um, Hope you're doing well, man. Where are we, guys? For future reference, it's 10:45 p.m. on a Sunday, 6 April 2025. And Cousin Ken Castro in here and hanging out looking at really the only digital baseball game he kind of tolerates. So love it, although I'm hoping he'll kind of maybe showing a slight bit of affection for Pocket Pennant Run. So we'll see. Anyhow, we're doing this tournament in a couple of different sims, 3 or 4, from Boston.com. So if you look at one of the past that I've done, either the game last night or when we started doing this Thursday or Friday night, you'll find the link in the description there for this. And so I thought, there are some folks out there that play Diamond Mine baseball, so this might serve as a kind of a basic tutorial, I guess, on how to kind of create your own leagues and stuff like that. There's a lot of nice home brews out there for Diamond Mine baseball, and what Cousin Ken might find really interesting is because with Diamond Mine, as long as you own the season, right, you can import teams or what have you. So we technically could create a tournament in here as well with 19th century teams. So that might be kind of fun. Maybe at Cousin Ken's help, and maybe we'll do maybe we'll create a tournament of 19th century teams or 19th century early base or and dead ball, whatever. So that way we kind of ease more into McGreevy. But I thought just tonight that this would be useful, I think, for some people. So if you own Action PC Baseball and you've done more than just a season replay, so if you've created your own draft leagues or whatever, or just created your own leagues, this is pretty similar. I do want to point you to Hardball Retro, to Derek Bain's site. Derek just put up a great tutorial on how to do drafts in this game. So do check that out. I'm going to avail myself of it. I really haven't done a lot of drafting with Diamond Mine Baseball. So, hey, there's Bernie. Bernie, I did see that you were around at Facebook, and then I got zapped out I had something I had to do. So I am going to maybe try to reach you tomorrow during the day or something, because I'm off Mondays. Anyhow, buddy, it's good to see you. Because if you're still interested, I would like us to get back into the podcast and just get back in touch, man. So things have just been crazy over here for me. So don't want you to think I'm blowing you off. I did see that, and bam, had to run. So all right. So to my knowledge, there's no way to really create a tournament in Digital Diamond Baseball. So what I'm going to do for this one is after I bring in the teams, we're going to just do these as a kind of series of exhibition games. And then I will just be able to keep track and, create a nice graphic to fill in or however I do it, just to see how teams progress in this one. So it'll be fun to see this versus Out of the Park and Action PC Baseball. Thank you, Bernie. Bernie says, sounds good. I'm even thinking of Pocket Pennant Run, but the reason I'm holding off on Pocket Pennant Run is I'm hoping that with the schedule generator there, and I mean, all these games have schedule generators, but Pocket Pennant Run might be, I don't know. We'll see. Pocket Pennant Run is going to be really easy to create these teams, obviously. So the caveat, guys, for Diamond Mine Baseball, if you're going to create, you got to own the seasons. It's kind of just like Action PC Baseball. Now, I don't have all the seasons for Diamond Mine Baseball, but I have a lot of stuff for Diamond Mine Baseball. So I have everything from 1871 through 1926 in terms of seasons. I have the all-time great ELO teams. I have all the all-time great team sets put out by them. A lot, and I have a lot of great other stuff that's done by a community. So I mean, plenty of baseball that we can play here. All right, so how do you start something like this? Because again, this isn't going to be a draft. This is pretty simple, but it'd be a chance to just talk some baseball and see how everybody's doing. So I've already done this, but what you do is you would come up and you would create a new empty database. All right. And then your location is always going to be where your game is installed. So in this case, it's on my C drive, DMB12. And then here I would just give it a name. So I already did this, so I'll show you. If we go to, we're already actually in here. So we go to View Organizer. Organizer is kind of where everything lives. You'll see right now there's no teams, no parks, no players. This is the active database. All right. Now, the way things work in Diamond Mine Baseball, a little bit confusing. And Cousin Ken will remember I did do a tutorial last year on how to install things created by Diamond Mine versus things created by the community. And it's a different process altogether. So luckily, I went through a lot here last night before I did the Out of the Park game last night between the Mets and the 1986 Mets and the 57 Braves. And I have all the teams to do this. I have like way more stuff here than I realized. So it's just going to be a case of just bringing it in. Might not know, but the screen is not fully expanded. Well, thank you, Bernie. What would I do without you, man? There we go. Now it's fully expanded. And of course, we can fully expand this screen too. I thought briefly about doing this in Appa PC Baseball for Windows because I thought it'd be fun for Ernie to call some of these games. But because I only have just 1871 to 1997, we wouldn't be able to get the teams from the 2000s in here. Frankly, I don't really care. It might be fun to maybe take the teams from this Boston com, see how many of them go up to that year, which would be most of them. Maybe it would just be like a 2014 tournament. So I don't know yet. We'll see. I just want to try to play with a lot more of these baseball games, and I don't want people to get burnt out on just seeing, a lot of out of the park baseball or, Action PC. Action could even do it in full count baseball. New update's not out just yet, but played a game of it the other night and really can't wait for that next update. It comes with everything, so including ballparks, and it's free. All right. Anyhow, Organizer is where you're going to import. You're going to do all kinds of things in here. So basically, what we're going to do tonight is just bring in these teams. All right, and I've got. Let me see. Let me just bring up this article. And because I want to make, again, just proper credit, this was written by Noah Trister of the Associated Press, posted on Boston.com, and this was done on 24 October 2017. And it's really, really, really good. Again, if you want the link, it's in the past two videos I've done. All right, so the first team we've got to bring in here is the 1902 Pittsburgh Pirates. So what we're going to do here is click Import. All right. Now, what I've got to do is I've got to change this active database. So I know that it's on All-Time Great Teams Volume 1. So what I've got to do is find it. And this looks like here's where it is. And there it is. So I'm going to include the park and the era. Click OK. Okay. And Pittsburgh's in here. And if I go to players, there we go. Got all the I've got the 1902 Pittsburgh Pirates in here. It's that easy. Just that easy. Again, we're not drafting. We're not doing anything like that. But I can click on anybody here. There's Tommy Leach. And we can see all his stats and everything. His ratings for Diamond Mine Baseball. If he had done any pitching. You get his fielding. So this should look familiar. It's very, very similar to Action PC Baseball in that way. And here's everybody. Here's Hall of Famer Jess Tannehill. Remember that 1902 squad? He was 20-6 that year with 25 walks and 100 strikeouts. So Jesse Haynes, best known with his career for the St. Louis Cardinals, but a good, solid, tough pitcher, Jesse Haynes. Okay, so we've done that. Pretty nice, right? If we go over here and look at parks, Exposition Park is in here now. Eras. I also wanted to bring in eras. As we go along, we'll see this. Now, schedules, I haven't played with this yet. Any drafts that you might do are here, and then any notes that you want to make. So let's go back to our Teams tab, and let's import our next team. And I go, this is going to be probably pretty dry stuff for a lot of folks, and I'm sorry about that. I really, really am. You can hear the remorse in my voice, right? All right, now I've got to figure out where are these Giants? Where are the Giants? So the 1905 New York Giants. So what you're not seeing, or what you're not seeing them looking at off screen, is Diamond Mine Baseball's catalog. So I was going to make a big text file of all these teams. There's a lot of these teams. And I didn't, like in Egypt. So we're just going to look around a little bit here. And while we're chin wagging, this is probably going to be the least watched video ever that I've ever done. But you know, shit happens, right? Shit happens, baby. All right, so I know they're not in volume 1. I'm trying to make everything sort of just that was done by God, I have no idea where these are. Yeah. That are done by Diamond Mine Baseball. So we're going to look around. Probably a lot of these are going to be in ELO, which will show, well, actually, that will be able to show you how to work more with databases. So let's go ahead and cancel this. So rather than going through that, I'm going to try to draw most. Hey, there's Nate. How you doing, Nate? Nathan, Advocate 8. All right, so what we do is we're just going to close this window. We're going to do File, and we're going to change the active database. Okay? So when we do that, we've got to see first, do we have it installed? All right. If I go up and down here, I see that I do not have these teams. Or yeah, I do. There we go. Boom. So I click OK. There. Now we have a new database. If we look at Organizer, there we go. I'm going to be drawing a lot of teams from this. So this is, I forget how many teams are in this, but this is a product, again, that you can buy from them. From so looks like 1904 Giants are here, but not the 1905 Giants. Damn it. I'm going to have to look. So yeah, again, for the two of you that play this game, it's just a way to do things. All right, so let me see. Is it in set number 2? So apologize, guys. Not in set number 2. So I'm going to end up installing all this stuff and trying to figure out. Most of these I can get from the ELO set. Okay, not in greatest team set 3. What about 4? What about 4? Nope. And 5. So everybody, how are your teams doing? How are your teams doing? No, not there either. What about number 6? Wow. Okay. You might have to get a little bit more creative here. Number 6. Nope. Number 7. Or I might just make them the 2000 or the 1904 Giants. I'd rather not do that, though. Strange. All right. Still looking. Well, they're definitely not in the worst of the worst. There's actually a worst of the worst in this. Whoops. No, I don't want to buy it. She's already own it. I mean, I love Diamond Mine Baseball, but there you go. Boy, and look at all these teams here that we didn't even add. All right. Anyhow. Let's go back to our active database, and I'll just find the New York Giants elsewhere because I do have them. Just don't know exactly where because I've never bothered integrating all these things. So let's change the active database. Okay. And once again, we're just going to go back to this one that we named Boston.com. Once this gets going, it's easy. It's just trying to find all these teams and pulling them in from everywhere. Kind of a bitch. Okay. And there we go. Let's go back to our organizer. So I'll just make a mental note that we've got to skip. We have to skip the 1905 Giants right now. And let's go for the 1906 Chicago Cubs. So let's import them. Let's import the Chicago Cubs in 1906. And again, trying to draw mostly from this ELO. Oh, there we go. There's 1906. We can just do it that way. So I'm not even really sure why I'm live streaming this because what you're seeing me do, I've done it in one sort of thing here. Oh, this is not in Diamond Mine 12. So just give me a second here, guys. Then we'll stop and have a chin wag. Maybe Aaron, maybe somebody will come in that wants to be on mic, or maybe we end up playing a, I don't know. Maybe we end up playing a, there we go. And there's the 1906 Cubbies, and we're going to go include the era, and boom, and they're in. All right. Next, we need the 1912 Boston Red Sox. This is making me work so hard. It's just making me work so hard. It's like, you got to be kidding me, right? You got to be kidding me. All this hard work. See how much I love you guys. Do you see how much I love you guys? It's pretty crazy, right? Pretty crazy. All right. Anyhow, Boston Red Sox and include era. Okay. So again, we'll just periodically look at a couple of these rosters because it's fun. It's fun. It's fun. So actually, when you double click on a team too, because this isn't licensed by Major League Baseball, they can't use real team names in this. But all I have to do is there is just type in Red Sox. It's all you got to do. You can pick their park. Now you can see we only have a few parks. That's because I'm bringing in the parks with the teams. Okay. Put real manager names in here and all kinds of stuff. So again, pretty simple. You'll be able to look at, you can see their actual stats. The game does bring over the stats of the real historical team, which is nice as well. For as bare bones as this game seems to be, this is, it's such an excellent game. It really, really is. Some of the best play-by-play you're ever going to find. All right, next is our 1917 Chicago White Sox. And again, trying to draw as much from here as I can. And I wish I could probably do this a little faster another way, but I'm having too much fun torturing everybody, really. All right, there we go. And let's include there. Okay. Now we've got the Chicago White Sox. In fact, let's look at our player pool. See? Getting larger and getting larger. So another thing that you could do, again, is you could just dump all these guys, make them all free agents, and you could draft just from 4 teams, draft completely different 4 teams, and keep drafting differently. So you can see how quickly, whether you just own 1 season, and that's in any baseball game, or you own 10, or you own 100, or whatever, the kind of baseball that you can really do, I think is really, really fun. So, but I don't have to finish doing this. We can do something else. If you guys want to do a pocket pennant run game, we can. In fact, we could play the Brewers and Twins game in pocket pennant run. We could do that. So see what you guys want to do. If anything, there's not really much to show on this. I think the rest of it, I'm just going to, do the rest of it off screen because it's not the most exciting thing. So let's see. Let me put this in here. We'll do a pocket pennant run game or something. Just because I think people are, again, there we go. Now, so until I hear from the jury, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Make sure all our parks are in. There they are so far. And teams. So what do you think, Nathaniel? Do you think your Brewers can do it in pocket pennant run baseball? Let me know. So lots of baseball going on around tonight in the old YouTube land. All right. All right. Next up, the 1927 New York Yankees. Nate says maybe, huh? All right. Just maybe, huh? Oh, goodness gracious. I just wanted to hang out. Really, that's why I'm here. That is why I'm here. There we go. 1927 New York Yankees. Boom. That easy. The weird thing about Diamond Mine Baseball is just moving around databases and stuff like that. But what you can do is combine a bunch of different databases. So like the all-time great players, volume 1 and volume 2, you can combine both databases and again just create a virtually limitless number. Depends on what line. Well, let you choose the lineup, Nate. What do you think? We want to do that. We can do that, certainly. And you don't have to save the game in this, by the way. You just exit. But what we'll do is we'll just leave this as a backdrop and we'll bring up Pocket Pennant Run. Let's do a game. Let's do a game. And Nathaniel's going to pick the lineup for the 1982 Brewers. And they were the visiting team, so they're going to be the visiting team here as well. Okay? So here we go. All right. I'll just give this a game ID of 1, and we will just do this. We'll just have fun. I don't know we'll make this officially count because I want to see how just how this is going to flow. Pardon me. All right, Milwaukee Brewers. There they are. And then the 1965 Twins over here. And the Minnesota Twins. Where are you guys? There they are. Let's add teams. Yes. You're selected for the away team is not valid. Oh, geez. That was stupid. I picked Milwaukee. Wait. Oh, I picked the Milwaukee Braves. See these Milwaukee people, man. Tell you what. There we go. Do I have pitchers to hit? Absolutely. All right. So, Nathaniel, who's going to be your starter? So, it was Don Sutton in Out of the Park, but you can change that if you want. So, I'll let you pick a starter here, if you're still here. I'm going to go ahead and close the Boston.com and close that. If you don't pick one, I'll just pick Don Sutton again. Wow, I didn't realize it's after 11 o'clock. Okay, so who do you like here? Who do you want to start for the Brewers? You got Caldwell, Sutton, Vukovic. The other guys, their fatigue rating is a little bit lower, so I don't know if you want to go any further down or not. I'll let Nathaniel think here for a few seconds. There should be a hot fix coming out for this game. It's the line-out double play thing, which is really weird. Okay, so Vukovic is going to start for the Brewers. Okay. And we're going to leave his fatigue at 7. That's fair. Okay. And for the Twins, and we'll start Mudcat Grant. Why not? All right. Okay. So we can let's alter this lineup here. So right now, the lineup that the game generated is Paul Molitor, Jim Gantner, Ted Simmons, Robin Yount, Cecil Cooper, Gorman Thomas, Ben Ogilvie, Charlie Moore, and of course then Pete Vukovic. So any of these you want to change, we can. It looks like a pretty respectable lineup here, though. So again, we'll see if there's anybody you want to change. And on this screen, this is really, really nice. You just use the up and down arrows to move people where you want and what have you. Or if you want to bring in Larry Heil, although Heisel, he's only a DH rated for this and that. Okay, so you're good. You're good with this one? Because I'm not going to touch the Twins lineup. Okay, cool. All right. Just save this lineup. And yeah, we'll save this lineup for future. Nah, we're not going to save it. It's just going to generate the same one. Okay, let's go. Let's play this. All right, so the 65 Twins and the 82 Brewers. So in the Out of the Park one, which is I'm going to kind of consider the official one. That was a good, tight game. Brewers and Twins. So the house rule I'm going to make for this, instead of overriding managers, if with each batter, whatever the manager says in terms of steals and stuff like that, I'm going to do. So that's the closest to me allowing the AI to manage against the AI, if that makes any sense whatsoever. All right, let's do this. And hopefully we won't have any line of double plays, because I know that there's something weird you have to do. Or I'll just record it as something else and just completely ignore them. So there is a hot fix due out in a few days for that. All right, here we go. So Paul Molitor leading things off here for the Brewers of 1982. Mudcat Grant has finished his warm-up pitches, and we are ready to go. And there we go. This one hit out to right to Tony Oliva. Oliva back and misjudges the ball. Drops in front of him for a base hit. So a runner aboard, Paul Molitor. We know he has great speed. Let's see what Harvey Keene wants to do here. And he's calling for a stolen base, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to steal, and yep. And he is safe. So Molitor swipes second, and that brings up Jim Gantner. All right. We're not going to worry about stealing third or stuff like that. Not early in the game, but steals a second. Why the hell not? All right. Here is the wind and the pitch from Mudcat Grant. And this is going to be a control 12, and he hits Jim Gantner. So Gantner hit by the pitch. So 2 on now for Milwaukee, and that brings up Ted Simmons. So again, this will show you his stats. So 269 hitter in 1982 from his 23 home runs. All right, 2 on, nobody out for the Milwaukee Brewers here in the top of the first inning here in pocket pennant run baseball. And here is the pitch from Mudcat Grant, and this is going to be a drop K. So it doesn't mean it's necessarily an out, and yes, it is. So 1 out. And here comes Robin Yount now, 29 homers, 331 average. All right, 2 on, 1 down. Grant deals. And this is going to be a batter 5, and this is going to be a fly out to center and a possible tag. So we'll do fly out, center, tag. All right. Okay, Molitor moves to third, 2 down, runners at the corners, and here comes Cecil Cooper. And Mudcat Grant lets it go. This one fly to center field, and this one should end the inning. And Jimmy Hall taps the glove once, twice, 3 times, and that is it. So the Milwaukee Brewers leave 2, and they do nothing. We go to the bottom of the first inning. The Brewers nothing, and the Twins coming to bat. JT Dutch doing all right, man. Just showing at the very, very beginning how to import teams into Diamond Mine Baseball. Which is super easy to do and about as exciting as watching paint dry. So I'm going to do the rest of that off screen, but I've decided to include Diamond Mine Baseball in this tournament idea. But I realized how much, oh my God, how much stuff I have for that game and like going all over the place to find things. But I've also decided that's going to be, I haven't seen a digital game out there past, right? I mean, all these others that I've invested in. And I've been saying I've been looking for that next digital game that I want to just get the rest of everything for. So nothing coming down the pipe that excites me. So it looks like it's going to be Diamond Mine Baseball. So my first, yeah. So I've got a lot of it, but I want to just eventually get everything for that game. Why the hell not? Just get her done, man. It's going to take a while, a few years, but that's okay. Diamond Mine, you know what, though? What's interesting about Diamond Mine Baseball? Hey, Mike. The interesting thing about Diamond Mine Baseball, JT, is when I've done it, though, a few times on here, surprisingly good crowd. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't stream well, but yet it maybe it's the play-by-play in that game, which is excellent. I don't know. Nonetheless, even for playing offline, I do love Diamond Mine Baseball, and nobody's coming out with anything. You know, again, I know there's a version of Inside Pitch out there that's digital now, but it just doesn't have, you know, it doesn't go early enough for me. So, which Diamond Mine goes back to the beginning, which I have all that stuff. So now I've got to sort of move forward on that. I've got all the All-Star games for this, got a lot of product for Diamond Mine Baseball, but I'm just going to go ahead and do like I do with Action PC. All right, anyhow, buddy. Yeah, no, it's not by me. Are you kidding me? I'm in Egypt, though. Yeah, it is a great game, JT. It is definitely that. All right, Zola Versailles leading things off here, and Pete Vukovic is ready to deal. And here's the wind and the pitch. This one hit out toward center field. This could be trouble. This is a batter 11, and this is going to be a power check, and this is a hitter park. But let's look at power. So this is a 5. This is a hitter park. So it is a leadoff double for Zola Versailles. All right, here we go. All right, and batter up. Whenever runner's on second and it's early in the game, I don't worry about steals of third. So I'm not even going to look to see what Sam Meal wants to do. All right, here's Tony Oliva, 321 average in 1965, 16 home runs for him. All right, here is the wind and the pitch by Pete Vukovic. This is going to be a left-right. This one hit down toward first base. And we have us. This is a righty-lefty matchup, so no pitcher advantage there. This is just going to be a 2. So this is going to be a ground to third lead runner, or ground to first lead runner. Okay, so ground ball and 3 lead runner. And runner moves up. So 1 away. And that brings up Earl Batty, 297, 6 home runs for him. I would like for Craig Harris to include RBI in this. I mean, I can look over here and batting data. Actually, no, I can't. I'd like to see RBI included in the sort of stats thing over here, because we want to know how many RBI a guy hit, right? And I don't feel like going outside the game to do that. So just a suggestion, if that can be done. All right, here we go. Vukovic. Oops, no, I don't want to do that. Vukovic winds and deals, fly ball. Charlie Moore out there in right field taps the glove and brings it down. So we got us 2 down, and remaining at second base here is Zola Versailles, who had that double. All right, here's Don Mincher batting in the cleanup spot. Mincher with 22 home runs, a 251 average. So it's a bit different. Going to be doing a Strat PC honorable mention tournament. Most of the teams will be in the homemade or the honorable mention section. Oh, cool, Mike. That sounds like a great idea. That really, really sounds like an awesome idea. Let us know, Mike, when and where, so that we can check it out. Mike always has interesting projects. Pretty good stuff. Mike, you still playing in what is it 1920? Is it 29, 30, or is it 1929, 30, or 31? I can't remember what you're doing right now. I'm just curious about that project, how that's doing. All right, here's Pete Vukovic now. And Vukovic deals, and this one is going to be swing and a miss, but the ball is dropped by the catcher, and doesn't matter. Doesn't make it to first. We go to the top of the second, and we have no score. So Gorman Thomas due up, followed by Ben Ogilvie and Charlie Moore. Okay, 78, mostly recently. Okay, and that was 1930. Okay, Mike. And Cousin Ken making sure that Mike is going to have Phillies representation. All right, Gorman Thomas in there now. Gorman Thomas knocked 39 out of the yard, and for Harvey's wall bangers, 245 average for him. Prone to striking out a little bit though. And this one is going to be a little ground ball out to short, and Versailles up with it, and this will be a 6-3. Nice textbook little 6-3. All right, 1 away for Ben Ogilvie, 34 home runs, 244 average. And Grant has the sign from Earl Batty. Here is the pitch. And this one hit out to right field. Tony Oliva ranges back, and short of the track, he will make the catch. And that will be out number 2. All right. Here's Charlie Moore now. Just a 254 average, 6 home runs. And the pitch. Hit out to left on Mincher. Don Mincher pulls in at short, hops him, so it is going to be a base hit for Charlie Moore. So 2 out. Moore on at first, and we're not even going to look at Harvey Keene for this one. He has no speed. All right. Here's Pete Vukovich. 2 outs. Here's the pitch. And this one hit toward third, and it's going to be an error. This one booted by Rich Rollins, and that is going to be, that's going to be a costly error, or could be. Runner's going to advance 2 bases, so this one goes all the way. Rich Rollins trying to pull it out of the tarp there as it kind of kicked foul away from his foot. And wow. So a 2-base error. Runners at second and third, and we go back to the top of the lineup for Paul Molitor, singled his first time up. Did you have a suggestion for your next drive for the pennant? Oh, you mean for a season? For a season? I think a really good one for drive for the pennant would be, it depends on how far back you want to go. I think 1949 is a good one. 1949. I think the 1949 season would be excellent. But a better one, if you don't mind going back a little further, is 1920. And the challenge would be to manage the Chicago White Sox. All right. So the White Sox and the Cleveland Indians were, that was tight all the way down. And then Commissioner Kennesaw Mountain Landis, there were 7 of the remaining Black Sox still in the game, and he dropped the hammer, and Cleveland ended up taking the pennant, I think, by 1 game. So 1920 would be really fun. See if you can, because Out of the Park those guys will go away on that date, and see if you could take the White Sox to the pennant in 1920. So that would be fun. So he says it's mid-September 1993, and his Giants need a mini miracle to overcome, or his Braves need a mini miracle to overcome the Giants. So as Mike gives us a colorful expletive preceding the name Landis. So there, I think that would be a lot of fun, John. Another one, God, don't get me started. 1922 managed the St. Louis Browns. They finished 1 game behind the New York Yankees. See if you can get them past the Yanks. That's a pretty potent team. In fact, they're in this tournament, the 1922 Browns, as you know. You got Ken Williams, slugger that also had speed on the base paths. One of the greatest baseball players of all time is on that squad, George Sisler. So, boy, that'd be something. You have Urban Shocker on the mound there. You got Baby Doll Jacobson. That 1922 Browns team is superb. So Mike says the 1993 Giants, a year before the first wild card and the damn work stoppage, too. Just got to add that one in. All right, here we go. Paul Molitor now already with a hit in this game, batting with 2 down, 2 on. So big error there, 2-base error on Rich Rollins. Here is the pitch. And swung on, and this is going to be a batter 4, and this is just going to be a fly out to center, and they get out of the inning. All right. Bottom of the second we go here, and the 82 Brewers and the 65 Twins are scoreless. Yeah, 1922 would be really, really, really fun. Yep, Shoeless Joe hit 382 in 1920, amazing. And then, boom. That's 1920 season. Mike, I don't know, Mike, if you ever finished it. I know it was maybe 2 years ago. You were doing 1920 in Strat. So I don't know if you hear a little noise, guys. I'm just kind of moving this mic around. There we go. I don't know if you ever finished that or whatever, but 1920 is a fun season. 1922. There are some dead ball seasons I could have also mentioned too, but let me know what you do with 1922. Those Browns are a lot of fun. All right, here's Bob Allison, a 233 hitter in 1965 with 23 home runs. Pete Vukovich ready to deal, and this one is swung on, And this is grounded out to second. And up with that ball is Jim Gantner. And he will toss on to first for out number 1. All right, stepping to the plate now is Jimmy Hall. Jimmy Hall with a 285 average, 20 home runs for Minnesota in 1965. Oh, the 49 Cardinals? There you go. Try to beat the Dodgers. So again, that 1949 pennant race, I rank 1949 as like one of the greatest baseball seasons of all time. I think 1908 is the greatest, but 49 is up there. And I'm doing 1949 offline. I'm not doing it here, but I'm replaying 1949 in Baseball for Windows, and it's been an absolute blast. Or take the Dodgers of 42 and try to beat the Cardinals. How about it, JT? There we go. So, John, one thing you're never going to be short of in this community is going to be suggestions. How about it? So Mike says that he's allowing ChatGPT to seed his American League and National League teams. That way, no bias. Oh, really nice. Yeah, bias is a hard thing. That's why I use this thing from Boston.com. And again, we had some pretty good spirited discussions, including one that was a lot more involved between why they chose the 1976 Cincinnati Reds over the 1975 Cincinnati Reds, and compelling arguments on both sides. Discussions. They were academic arguments. All right. Anyhow, 1 out, and here's the lefty Jimmy Hall. And here is the wind and the pitch. And this is going to be a walk. So Vukovic just missing the plate, and Jimmy Hall is going to be granted first base. All right, batter up. What does Sam Meal want to do here? He's calling for a steal. So house rules, we're going to, whatever the manager says he's going to do. And he is off to the races. Simmons up and gunning, and not in time. Jimmy Hall has the stolen base. So the Brewers and the Twins each now with a theft. Baseball history and its challenges are as rich and as plentiful as it gets. How about it? That's why I love it so much, man. And why I don't have time. You know, again, somebody asked one night about fictional players. And it's like, I don't have time, man. There's too much Major League Baseball to learn. I don't want to. A lot of these guys, I don't even know. You know, even on these teams right here, you know, I don't really know a lot about Jimmy Hall or whatever. So too much Major Leagues to learn for me. All right, here's Rich Rollins now. 249 average for him in 1965, 5 homers. Struck out 54 times. And here is the pitch from Pete Vukovic. And big swing and a miss. And he will go grab some pine. I don't want to steal Dave Gardner's way of calling a strikeout. So, but I love the way he does it. It kind of sounds like Cartman or something. Love it. All right, here's Jerry Kendall. Just a 196 average, but 6 home runs for him. All right, 2 away, no score here. Bottom of the second, and here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Vukovic with back-to-back strikeouts, and that will end the inning. We go to the top of the third here. We're at Metropolitan Stadium in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and no score in a matchup of these teams from our Out of the Park tournament. Now meeting up again here. So the Brewers won that game 6-5, and no score here. Thespian Series. It's been like 1,000 years since you've been here. I hope you're doing well, my friend. He says, a great game, Diamond Mine Baseball. Been playing since the late 90s. Yeah, so showing them just how to import teams for this overall over 4 baseball game tournament that we're doing. And Diamond Mine is great. And that's the one that's I'm just going to do as I did, you know, with Action PC. Eventually just going to own everything for it, you know, buy a few things here and there. The bad thing about Imagine Sports is they rarely have sales. So this is going to be a bit more of an investment than Action PC was. And but I'm stacked with a lot of baseball in that, but I've been looking all over the place and nobody's coming out with anything that interests me. And I've been playing Diamond Mine for a number of years, man. So amen, brother. Amen. Todd B comes in and says, and a lot of people don't embrace ChatGPT, using it to write a narrative of one of the teams you created. ChatGPT is awesome. I don't think there's anything wrong with this technology. Look, guys, I'm an artist, but I will use AI image generators to create things when I need to, just for some quick fixes, stuff like that. I figure, it's funny. I had an art teacher who once said that art is wherever you can get away with. And I think that, I'm not out to, I don't want, I'm not going to put artists out of work or writers out of work or whatever. I'm using it just for my own thing. And, I'm not signing my name to stuff or things like that. So I'm one of those creative types. I'm like, bring it on. I love it. It sparks amazing, amazing ideas. So nothing wrong with it at all. Oh, Metropolitan was in Bloomington. I had no idea. I thought it was in Minneapolis. Thank you, JT. I appreciate that. Can we ogle pics of Kate Beckinsale first? And I should show you some of the things I'm doing on Leonardo. Oh my goodness. Anyhow, we'll have a 7th inning stretch. We'll have a I don't know if we'll do Kate Beckinsale or something. We'll pick somebody. We'll let Cousin Ken pick somebody, and we will ogle some picks. By the way, for those of you who don't play baseball games, or you play other games in addition to baseball, so picked up this gem on Steam. It's really cool. It's an early access, but it's beautiful, and it's very mature, very involved. It's called the Sultan's Game. Check it out. So yeah, Ken, I've been looking for that email. I guess you haven't sent it yet. So those of you who are looking for something outside of baseball to burn your brain with some good mature themes and all kinds of stuff, it's not a Twitch game, but check it out. It's super, super cool. Been expanding the Steam library at the cost of other things, I guess. All right. Anyhow, here's Jim Gantner. So he was hit by a pitch last time up. Mudcat Grant deals, and this one swung on. This is a lefty-righty 12. All right, lefty-righty 12. This is going to be a park check. Still going to be, no, you know what, though? Let's see. Let's make sure. We got a righty-lefty, so it's a park check 7. And this is going to be a double for Jim Gantner, so getting a little bit back here with the double after being plunked his first time up. All right, runner in scoring position here for Harvey's wall bangers, and here's Ted Simmons, who struck out last time. Nobody out, top of the 3rd. And Grant deals, and this one hit toward Rich Rollins at 3rd. Remember, he had that big error last time, but this time he's going to go to 1st, and we will see what our result is going to be. So ground ball, lead runner 5, and there we go. So it's going to be a fielder's choice play, and that will bring up Robin Yount. So 1 away. Carew is a magician with the bat. How about it? So Ken Castro says that he went to Metropolitan Stadium in 1976 with a buddy. He said, yes, we drank a lot. I would hope so. But we chatted up with the Twins ball girls, and they gave us 2 balls. One was a foul ball off the bat of Rod Carew. Wow, nice. Mike thanking JT Dutch for subscribing. Awesome. And Hank Aaron's final year, and you got to see him play. And you guys have got to see these absolute, legends, gods play. Bernie got to see Ted Williams. You got to see Hank Aaron. So many players, all the players that you guys saw. Yaz, everybody. I'm like, geez, I'm so jealous. All right, Robin Yount flew out to center last time, 1 away. And here is the pitch from Mudcat Grant. And this is going to be a base hit, and the runner is going to make it to 3rd on that one. All right, so the Brewers threatening here with 1 away, and now stepping up to the plate is Cecil Cooper. Let's see what Harvey Keene wants to do. This is a weird one because you might want to try to steal to stay out of the double play. What does he say? He's calling for the stolen base. So again, that house rule, we're going to do that. And let's see what happens. Earl Batty up and gunning, and safe. Robin Yount is in there. How about that? All right, so runners at 2nd and 3rd, and the Brewers looking to draw first blood here. In the box now, Cecil Cooper flew out to center last time up. From the stretch, Mudcat Grant winds and fires. And this is going to be a batter too. And this is going to be a ground ball to second, lead runner. And let's see what we get here. So ground ball, second, lead runner. And there we go. So 2 down, runner holds. And that brings up Gorman Thomas. He grounded to short his last time up. Here is the pitch. Mudcat Grant, if I'd learned to talk, looking to get out of this. This is going to be a batter 9, and this is a base hit. So RBI for Gorman Thomas. There you go, Nathaniel. And your 1982 Brewers get on the first. Got on the board first. It is 1-0. All right, here's Ben Ogilvy. Flew out to right last time up. Here's the wind and the pitch. All right, and this is going to be a 5 and a fly out to center, and that will end the inning. But the Milwaukee Brewers get a run, and they lead this one 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. 1982 Brewers and the 1965 Twins. David Lando joining us, and Tim joining us, Clee Baseball Fan 879. So Mike saw Reggie Jackson in 1981. Nice. Everybody talking about these great players they've seen. Happy Sunday to you, David. Hopefully you're doing well. So those players, yeah, right. So those players were in the league before you were born. Exactly. Situation depends on how much of a challenge you want with the Dodgers, which era you prefer, etc. So, because Mike asked me, he says he doesn't have the 22 or 2024 Dodgers unless you think I should find a way to use them. What Dodgers team should you go with? What? So again, for what years are you talking about, Mike? Because I mean, I especially love the Brooklyn Dodgers, but I don't think you're going back that far. So just send it to Cousin. Okay, we're going over this a lot. I hope I gave you the proper email, Ken. I'll reach out in Facebook to make sure I gave you the proper email, because I have like 3 email addresses. So I'm going to give you the one that I answer the most or look at the most, because I was looking today and checked all 3 and didn't see anything. So looking. Koufax and his non-hitting offense. While we're talking 1965 then. So, okay. Oh, thanks, cuz. All right, I'll check Facebook. 1965 Dodgers. There you go, Mike. So Bob Lace, the A's about 1980 or so. We hassled him with the bullpen, and he flipped us off epic. Almost got thrown out of a game. Best friend of mine and ex-girlfriend, we went to see a Pirates-Reds game, and we were just ragging big time on Chris Sabo, and we almost got thrown out of the game. The umpire actually come over and yelled, either shut the hell up or you're out of the game. Sabo was pissed. So that was fun. Good challenge in the Koufax area. You won't have Sandy for full season. 64 Dodgers, quite a bit better than their record indicates, says JT Dutch. Yeah, I mean, Koufax was tough. And the other reason I was mentioning 65 is Koufax prevented this powerful Minnesota Twins team from winning. It was really Sandy Koufax. So Sabo's an easy target. He was a jadrul, as we say in Italian. So, you know. Ken Castro said his buddy was ragging on Bruce Keeson in the International League, and Keeson waited for him outside the gate. Good old time at baseball there. Bruce Keeson wants to kick some ass. Nice. Yeah, Sabo was upset, man. We're just writing. Oh my God, it was incredible. Almost got thrown out of a baseball game. That was pretty fun. We shut up though because we wanted to watch baseball. All right, Mudcat Grant will start things off here for the Twins in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And swing and a miss, strikeout, and Pete Vukovich has fanned his 4th. In this game. All right, back at the top of the order now. And that will bring up Solo Versalis, who had a double last time up. The wind and the pitch. And this is going to be a grounder to second. So score that one 4-3 if indeed you are scoring at home. Good chatter going on tonight here amongst the family. La Familia, La Brigada. Yeah. All right, Tony Leva now. So Tony Leva grounded out to first. So the 3 unassisted. And this one, swing batter. And he comes up empty. And Pete Vukovich has now just struck out his 5th batter. So, Nate, you got to be pretty happy about that one. All right, we head to the top of the 4th inning. Brewers leading the Twins 1-0. So, in our out of the park game, it was not a finesse game like this one. I think it was 3-0. Yeah, it ended up, the score was 6-5. So, a tight game. This one a little bit more of a pitcher's duel. All right, here we go. Clue Haywood strikes out, says Tim. How about it? So, John DFW, if you go back in history, who'd you watch, Koufax or Walter Johnson? I know that wasn't directed at me, but you guys know my answer. It's Walter Johnson, 24/7, 365, and that's not to take anything away from Sandy Koufax. But Cousin Ken says he saw Koufax pitch on TV, but only Clinton saw Walter Johnson live. Clinton was at Ford's Theater too, I think. So really quickly, if you look on YouTube, I guess what was that show called? It was on in the 50s. It was called I've Got a Secret. And there was this old gentleman on there, and you listen to him talk, and it was kind of weird. He was in Forbes Theater the night and that President Lincoln was assassinated. So check that out. It's pretty interesting stuff. Ty Cobb was on. I would love. Would he be now second in the league in nose hair? Says Tim. I would have loved to have seen Walter Johnson pitch. Oh my God. And again, so the Ken Burns documentary was wrong about Walter Johnson, right? They were trying to say he was such a gentleman and he wouldn't throw at batters. That is not true. As a matter of fact, of all Hall of Fame pitchers, Walter Johnson has the most hit batsmen. What Walter Johnson didn't do was throw at somebody's head. But Johnson was not afraid to pitch inside and knock down a lot of batters. So he is the Hall of Famer with the most hit batsmen. So they got that one wrong just by a little bit. He was a really easygoing guy, but Johnson was not shy about establishing that was his home plate. And, you can imagine getting hit by some of these guys, Walter Johnson, Randy Johnson, these fireballers, John Kruk bailing out in the All-Star game, or, Rob Dibble, we used to bring that gas. I get the hell out of the way too. I mean, maybe Walter Johnson only threw 93, 94, but back then, relative to everybody else, that's crazy speed and no batting helmets, anything like that. So, but I would have loved to have seen him pitch. The man held records, shutouts forever and ever and ever, and just dominance, absolute dominance. It should be called the Walter Johnson Award, not the Cy Young Award. There's my answer. So, but I see Walter Johnson color, only seen in black and white. Well, Well, you know what? AI is going to be colorizing that stuff pretty soon too. So, look what Peter Jackson did. Have you guys ever seen the documentary They Shall Not Grow Old? It's beautiful. Deals with World War I. Absolutely beautiful. I was a little bit like, I don't know, do I want this to happen? And it did. And using that same this amazing technology that he used later for the Beatles documentary Get Back, it was incredible. So I too bad Peter Jackson is not a baseball fan. It'd be fun for him to take some of these old films and use that same They Shall Not Grow Old magic on those things. How about it? Randy Johnson was nasty. Just ask every seagull who was a cousin of old Jonathan that got hit that day. How about it? All right, here we go. There's Charlie Moore, number 8 slot here. And Mudcat Grant deals. And this is going to be swung on and base hit for Charlie Moore. Base hit for Charlie Moore. So the Brewers now with their 6th hit in this game, and it brings up Pete Vukovich. All right. So let's see if Harvey Keene wants the little bunt. He does want to bunt. All right. So we're going to go ahead and do a bunt. We don't do a lot of bunt plays on here, do we? So this is going to be a straight up bunt, and this is going to be on the red die. And he strikes out. Pete Vukovich strikes out. So there, I've never shown a bunt on the channel. Now you saw it. That's how you do a bunt in this game if you're playing as pocket pennant run. All right. That will bring up Paul Molitor. Molitor with a single, and he's flown out 1 for 2. Charlie Moore on at first, 1 away. And here's the wind in the pitch. This is going to be a lefty-righty 12. So this is going to be a power check. And this is at Hitter's Park. That's a 5. And this one, we bring it up a notch. And this is going to be a 2-base double for Paul Molitor. And these Brewers have come to play. All right. 7 hits for them now. And here comes Jim Gantner. So drilled by a pitch and doubled in this game. And here is the pitch. And this will be a batter 6. And this is going to be a grounder to short, but the runners will advance. So that's going to bring in another run. And the Brewers now with a little safer margin. It's 2-0. Tessier Ashpool in here says, I remember seeing that video of Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig taking batting practice. Yeah, hearing about American League mythological figures like those two and then seeing them in action was so surreal. You know, it is. And I mean, and in the Burns documentary too, you see Gehrig, right? That shot. Hey, Aaron, how you doing? Where he's he's not wearing his shirt, you know, he's on the field there. And I mean, this dude was ripped, Lou Gehrig. Oh my God. But yeah, to see Babe Ruth, and what a graceful, I mean, when he missed the ball, he spun around, but there's that one that you can find it on YouTube with Babe Ruth hitting a home run, and just the grace in that swing. And remember that, you know, that bat was so heavy. And I remember, what year that they brought his bat and Hannes Wagner's bats, both very heavy bats, the All-Star game. And how many of the players could barely even lift the bats. And they're like, how could he swing? Imagine if Babe Ruth had known that it was speed through the strike zone and was swinging a bat more like Ken Griffey Jr., how many more home runs Babe Ruth might have hit. And Lou Gehrig and Jimmy Fox, all these guys, huh? Jacked, says Tessier Ashpool. But it is amazing to see those guys. I always say, man, in heaven, if not that I'm going to get there, but I would just like to say, well, God, until you decide to end it all, can I just spend eternity going to any baseball game I went to in history, meeting any baseball player and talking to him? That would be awesome. So, and for Cousin, I'd be going to see Bill Dahlin first. Play a hand or two of poker against Bill Dahlin. Since we're already dead, it wouldn't matter, right? All right, runner on third, 1 in for Milwaukee here. And coming to the plate now is Ted Simmons, fielder's choice last time up. And this is going to be a range play on Don Mincher out to left. And this is going to be a fly ball. And Don Mincher will pull it down for the final out of the inning. But the Brewers pick up another one. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. The Brewers lead the Twins 2-0. So Pete Vukovich right now pitching a 1-hitter as Earl Batty steps up. Catcher for these Twins, flew out to right last time. And here is the wind and the pitch. Range play out there on Paul Molitor. This gets past him. This gets past Molitor and will get into left field for a base hit. So Earl Batty is aboard. Batty no speed, so we're not going to check with Sam Meal. All right, Don Mincher struck out last time up. Bats in the cleanup spot here for the 1965 Twins. And here is the pitch from Pete Vukovich. And this is going to be a 10 off the batter die. And that's a base hit. And Earl Batty is going to make it to third on the play. So runners at the corners for the Twins, looking to get some back here. And here's Bob Allison now. Grounded out to second his last time up. JT says, I think the most dominating performance he ever saw pitching-wise was 44-year-old Nolan Ryan's 7th no-hitter in 1991. Ended with Robbie Alomar on one knee after swinging and missing at gas. How about it? Whew. Aaron says he's sure up in the pearly gates of heaven. There's a big-time baseball season going on right now. Yep. Aaron, if you can find it an audio book, I think a book that you would love by W.P. Kinsella is called the Iowa Baseball Confederacy. In fact, I suggest it for anybody, whether Aaron, for obvious reasons, would need the audio book. But others, you want to read the book or whatever. If you thought Shoeless, and if you ever read Shoeless Joe Jackson Comes to Iowa, which Fields of Dreams is based on, the Iowa Baseball Confederacy is one of the trippiest, coolest baseball novels you'll ever read. So written by a good Irishman, W.P. Kinsella. So check it out. And Aaron, the reason I mentioned that is because it has a bit to do with the type of baseball game you're talking about. It's called the Iowa Baseball Confederacy. Ken Castro says, drinking with Bad Bill and Hal Chase. Let's throw Benny Koff into the mix too. What do you say there, cuz? All right. Runners on first and third, nobody out. Golden opportunity here for the Minnesota Twins to get in this game. They're only down by 2. However, no speed on the base paths. All right, Vukovic works out of the stretch. And here's the pitch to Bob Allison. And Bob Allison lunges and comes up with nada. So that's a strikeout. And Vukovic now has his 6th K in the game. All right, here's Jimmy Hall. Jimmy Hall walked last time up. Here's the pitch. And this one is hit into the gap in right field. So here we go. And do we want Jimmy Hall to stretch the hit for second? So he's an A against Charlie Moore. We're going to say yes. And he is out of there. Jimmy Hall trying to stretch it, but a run does score. And the Minnesota Twins cut the lead in half 2-1. Other house rule, since the runner had a higher letter than the defense, chose to go for it. So, all right, here we go. Here's Rich Rollins. That's I think it's actually in the game rules too. All right, Rich Rollins struck out his last time up. Rollins not having a very good day, had that big error. And here we go. Here is the pitch. And this is going to be a batter 6. And this is going to be a fly ball to left. And that will end the inning. But the Minnesota Twins get a run back, and we head to the top of the 5th inning. The 82 Brewers 2 and the 65 Twins 1. So I think it's really, really cool that you guys are doing some stuff with ChatGPT. It's good stuff. All right, here's Robin Yount. He has flown out and singled in this game. Mudcat Grant ready to deal. Grant's still looking pretty good out there. All right, swung on, and this is going to be a power check. A power 4, and this is going to be a double for Robin Yount. So Yount aboard, batter up, and that'll be Cecil Cooper. 0 for 2 in the day, fielder's choice last time up. Here is the pitch, and this is going to be a left right on the 7, and this is going to be a grounder to first, and the runners will advance, or the runner will advance, I should say. Okay, runner on third, 1 away. Chance here for Milwaukee to tack yet another one on the board and pull away again. Gorman Thomas singled his last time up. Here is the pitch to Thomas. And this is going to be fly ball center and a tag question mark. All right, so we're going to have to make a little decision here. Do we want Robin Yount to tag? Yes, we do. And he's out. Jimmy Hall making the play. He is out. Following that same rule. All right, we go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and the Brewers still lead the Twins 2-1. So Cousin Ken says his son's first minor league game was Tomahawk's perfect game in 2000 for the Pawtucket Red Sox. After the 6th, wife was urging me to leave. Here's the keys. I'm staying. So Cousin Ken said his wife didn't leave. He brought her food to keep her quiet. Nice. Apply her with alcohol and food, buddy. That's the way to deal with it. All right, guys. Here's Jerry Kendall now leading things off here. The number 8 hitter for the Twins. Down 2-1 here. For the Milwaukee Brewers, 2 runs, 8 hits, no errors. And for the Twins, 1 run, 4 hits, and 1 error. So again, we're playing the first 2 teams we had in our matchup that were mainly doing an out of the park, or out of the park was kind of like the overarching game. But repeating that game. So the Brewers won that one 6-5 in out of the park baseball, and leading this one 2-1. These are the teams in the Boston.com article. All right, here we go. Kendall struck out the last time up. And here is the pitch to Kendall. So this is going to be a lefty-righty 2. And this one, we're just going to call this a line out to short. Where'd they put it? There we go. So line to short. Boop. There we go. So 1 away, and brings up Mudcat Grant. Struck out. Let's see what Sam Mill wants to do here. No, we're going to leave Grant in. He's doing fine. It's 2-1. Let's leave him in there. All right, here is the pitch. This one hit towards Jim Gantner now. And Gantner ranges over to his left and able to make the play to first. So score that one 4-3. All right, 2 away quickly, and here comes the top of the order again. Zoilo Varsales double and ground out in this game. Here is the pitch, and this one is going to be a left-right 10, but we got to drop it 1. Still going to be a single. All right, runner on first, batter up. Does Sam want to steal with 2 down? Antonio Oliva. Let's see how smart. He says yes. They're going to be working on the AI in this game, so that's going to be kind of fun. But we're going to go ahead and let him try to steal. All right, Zoilo Varsales, aggressive lead, and there he goes, off with the pitch. Ted Simmons up with the throw, and Zoilo Varsales is out. So they run themselves out of the inning, retires the side. We go to the top of the 6th. Milwaukee leads Minnesota 2-1 here. All right, Ben Ogilvie will lead things off. Ogilvie flew out to right and to center in this game. Here is the pitch. Swing and a miss. Ben Ogilvie goes down swinging, and that's the 3rd strikeout by Mudcat Grant in this game. So 1 away. Brings up Charlie Moore. Charlie Moore, 2 for 2 with 2 singles. The wind and the pitch to Moore, and this is going to be a 5 swing batter, and he comes up with nothing. So 2 down here. Mudcat Grant looking for the trifecta here. Brings up Vukovic now. And Vukovic reached on an error and also struck out in this game. Here is the pitch. Fly ball to center field. And Jimmy Hall looks like Jimmy Hall gets fooled by this one and pops out of his glove. Jimmy Hall. Whoa. So error on Hall, E8. So this one not a clean game. 2nd error by the Minnesota Twins. And it brings up Paul Molitor now back at the top of the order. Molitor 2 for 3 in the day, doubled his last time up. Todd B says Mudcat Grant did Indians TV baseball in the 70s. Mudcat Grant, of course, a former Pittsburgh Pirate as well. Good stuff. All right, here is the pitch, and Mudcat Grant picks up another strikeout, and that will retire the side. All right, we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, still 2-1. Good game going on here. It'll be Tony Oliva due up, then Earl Batty and Don Mincher for the 1965 Twins. Down 2-1 here in the bottom of the 6th. Vukovic, thus far in this game, has fanned 6, walked 1, and given up just 5 hits. Here is the pitch. This one driven into the gap and left by Tony Oliva. So do we want him to try to stretch it? Ooh, man. I'm going to leave this one to the chat. Tony Oliva is an A runner. Ben Ogilvie is B defense, B arm. What do you think, guys? So they're down 2-1. I'm thinking we want Oliva to stay in scoring position. Getting him to 3rd, Matt, I don't know. Let's see. What do we want to do here? I know what Nate's going to say. He's going to say, yeah, have him stretch it. But we'll see. We'll see. And if there's, okay, run, of course. So we got 1 vote for run. No surprise there from Cousin Ken. See if anybody else here, what you have to say here. Your chance to be a big league manager Wasn't that what the APA ads used to say? You could be a big league manager. The fun in the street and Smith's baseballs and stuff like that. JT Dutch says, remembers Grant doing post-game Dodger talk in 1988. And we had to remind some callers that no, his nickname wasn't Catfish. It was Mudcat. That's funny. All right, I am not seeing anything else, so we're going to go ahead and let him try to stretch it, and he's out of there. Oh, my goodness. All right, well, that's what you get. You got to sometimes take that risk. So one away now, and here's Earl Batty, singled his last time up, and this one's going to be hit out toward left, and let me see, what do we got here? A lefty-righty 4, and this is just going to be a fly ball to left field. And that'll be out number 2. No risk, no reward. How about it, cousin? There you go. All right, here's Don Mincher swung on. And this one is going to be a batter 9 base hit to right for Don Mincher. So, ooh, that Tony Oliva trying to stretch that out hurts a little bit. This would have been a tie game. But as it is a base hit. All right, runner aboard now for Bob Allison. Grounded out and struck out in this game. Allison looking to make something happen. This one hit out to short. This could be trouble. And no, making the play, crawling it and firing to first is Robin Yount. And that will retire the side. So the Twins taking a chance. It does not pay off. And we will take ourselves to the top of the 7th inning. The Brewers clinging to a 2-1 lead. Good, tight ball game here. We're going to have to start keeping an eye on the pitchers here. And this is where, if I don't hear anything from the chat, I'm just going to make some guesses here as to who's going to have to come into bullpen, because this will, we do have fatigue in effect here. All right, Jim Gantner due up. Gantner will be followed by Simmons and Yount. All right, Gantner, last time up was a sacrifice. And this one is drilled into the gap and right for Jim Gantner. So Jim Gantner coming out and getting some good wood on this. Do we want Gantner to stretch the hit for third against right fielder Tony Oliva? Both are C's. So I know Cousin Ken's going to say run. This is going to be a little bit closer probably. So I'm going to leave it here for a few minutes. Typical Vukovic outing, says Todd B. Lots of hits and base runners. All right. If I don't hear anything, okay. Oh, Nate saying to run. 1 vote for run. And I guess we're going to proxy Cousin Ken's vote, and he's going to run too. So here we go. Safe. Jim Gantner stretches it and gets to third base. How about it? Boy, these Twins just can't catch a break. All right. Well, he went. Said we had 2 votes for run. All right. All for fun. It's all for fun till somebody loses an eye or gets thrown out of third. All right, here's Ted Simmons. And here is the pitch from the stretch. And this is going to be a batter 8 and base hit. And this is going to be an RBI for Ted Simmons. And Milwaukee pads its lead. It is now 3-1. Runner on first. Nobody out. That'll bring up Robin Yount. Yount 2 for 3 on the day. And here's the pitch to Robin Yount. Lefty righty. This is going to be a 3. It's going to be a ground ball. Yep, it's going to be a ground ball. It's going to be a ground ball double play. So that will retire the side. Robin Yount tries to beat the throw. Oh no. Okay, so just 2 outs. There's nobody out. I'm sorry. My mess up there, gentlemen. All right, here's Cecil Cooper. And here is the pitch. And this one is just going to be a grounder to third, and that will definitely retire the side. So even if I mess that up, boom. There we go. All right, 7th inning stretch here as the Brewers pick up another one. It's 3-1. So Brewers looking to get wins in 2 baseball sims now. All right. All right, Vukovic will face Jimmy Hall here to start the bottom of the 7th. Jimmy Hall's been on base twice today, courtesy of a walk and a base hit. Here is the pitch. And this one hit out to short. Robin Yount corrals it and fires for the out. So 1 up, 1 down here in the bottom of the 7th. And striding to plate now is Rich Rollins. Rich Rollins with a strikeout and a fly out in this one. This one hit towards second. And this is going to be easily played by Jim Gantner, making it look easy out there. Score that one 4-3. Quickly 2 down. And brings up Jerry Kindle now. Mudcat Grant waits on deck. If Jerry Kindle gets on, we'll see if Sam Mill wants to go with a pinch hitter. And this one is a left-right 12. And either way, this is a base hit. This is a base hit. All right, so runner on. Batter up is Mudcat Grant. What does Sam want to do? He does not want a pinch hitter. All right, so we leave Mudcat Grant in with 2 down. So Nathaniel said he was thinking the same thing, but he said, let's take a risk, and that risk did pay off. All right, so Mudcat Grant is going to stay in the game and hit for himself. So interesting choice here by Minnesota. Here is the pitch, because there's some decent bats here still on this Minnesota bench. But anyhow, this is going to be a left-right 11. And let me see. So we got a righty and a righty. Oh, my goodness gracious. So Mudcat Grant, too bad, man. So he grounds out, and that retires the side. Almost the same. If they had been the same handedness, Mudcat Grant would have had himself a single. So anyhow, ground out to second, and that will retire the side. Boom. All right. So Mudcat Grant is fatigued due to innings, and he is going to lose that first K on a 1, and his control is going to drop down. And you'll see that happen. Boom. There we go. So I guess we got to go to our bullpen here. We got to see what's going on. All right. Oh, my God. So out of the park baseball used Johnny Clipstein. So are we. So we're going to go ahead and warm him up. There we go. All right. So you can see he's up there, and you'll start to see colors and numbers and all kinds of stuff. Right here's Gorman Thomas, number 6 hitter, due up. 1 for 3 in the game. And here is the pitch. And this is going to be off the control 9. And Gorman Thomas starts things off here with the leadoff walk here in the top of the 8th inning. All right. Johnny Clipstein not ready yet. Here comes Ben Ogilvy now. Todd B says Cecil Cooper hit 350 one year, but was overshadowed by some dude who hit 390. Doesn't that kill you, man? 350. That's like such a night. And then it's like, damn it, somebody's 390. All right. And here is Ben Ogilvy, since we said that. And this one is going to be swung on. Batter 10, base hit. Base hit. So here we go. Here come the Brewers again. All right. Mudcat Grant, a little tired out there, has got to face Charlie Moore now. 2 singles and a strikeout. Charlie Moore with a good RBI chance here. Here is the pitch. And this will be a lefty-righty 2. And this is going to be the line-out double play. This is the known bug in the game. So what we're going to do is we're just going to call this a 5-4-3 double play. And runners would advance on this one. Because if we do this line-out double play, it's a bug that's going to be fixed in a couple days. So if you guys know that, it might mess up your score sheet, but instead of making it like that, just make it a 5-4-3. It doesn't really matter. Unless you're really, Boop. There we go. And actually, the runner didn't go on that one. All right. It's 2A. Wasn't that George Brett? Or am I like way off base here? Hell, I can't think. You're past 1929 now, so you're killing me here, Todd. All right, here's Pete Vukovich. Let's see what Milwaukee wants to do. I'd say the 3-1 lead. Let's not even. We're just going to let Vukovich in there. All right, here is the pitch. And this is going to be a batter one. And this is just going to be a liner to first. But we're just going to call it a 3 unassisted. And that will make everybody happy. All right. And Pete Vukovich now is he is fatigued. All right. So, Nate, you know this team better than anybody. And I don't remember. Is it too early for Rolly Fingers? Got to get somebody up there. And I don't know who. I can't remember what pitcher out of the park selected here. So. Oh, it was George Brett. Holy shit. Okay. I got a modern baseball question right. Just like that's the name that popped into my mind because I know Brett hit damn near 400 one year. So that had to be George. It had to be at least that was the best guess I could come up with. So, Nathaniel, you know these 1982 wall bangers. You're a Brewers fan. Is it too early to bring in Rolly Fingers? It's bottom of the 8th. Fingers was hurt postseason 1982, says Mike. So looking, I mean, obviously Fingers has the best ratings coming off of here, but your next best pitch is going to be, or pick is be Dwight Bernard. And the rest of the guys are starters, so it really doesn't matter. Fingers should be able to go 6. So Cousin saying, he says go with Rolly Fingers. All right, let's get him up in the pen. Let's get him up in the pen. Boom. There we go. All right. Back to it. And Vukovich. And we've got to go over here for the Twins. And we're going to have to, I think we're going to have to sit Johnny because he's at 4 batters now. So pretty tough, but we've got to do that. So we're going to have to sit him. And we are going to just start him just warming again. Pretty set. The pitcher's warm-up balance will be restored. Okay, so there we go. So that's a way that you can kind of sit your relief pitcher down and then back up again. So you don't want him to come in tired if you can help it. I'm also going to warm up Pete Chimino. All hands on the pump, baby. There we go. So action in the Twins bullpen. And we get back to this. Brewers won World Series 1982 with Fingers active. Oh, yeah. No doubt, Mike. No doubt on that one. All right, Zola Forsal is up. Singled his last time up. It's 3-1 Brewers here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And here we go. This is a control 4. And Zola Versales will take a trip down to first base. All right, Rolly Fingers not ready yet to come into the game. And here comes Tony Oliva. Doubled his last time up. Here's the pitch to Oliva. And this is going to be a left-right 9. And that will be a base hit. Runners advance 2 bases. Brewers looking to tack it on here. Nobody out. Sam Meal here. What does he want to do? Wants to try to maybe stay out of the double play. You got speed on the base paths here. Let's see. Let's see what he says. It's an ace stealer on at first. He's calling for the steal. Gutsy play. Let's see here. Earl Batty has a single, and he's flown out twice. Whew. Oh, man, this is tough. But again, house rules. Let's do it. And he's out. Tony Oliva caught stealing. So runner on third. And here's the pitch to Earl Batty. And this is going to be a batter 8. Base hit. So at least gets 1 run in. All right. So it's 3-2. And let me see here. Raleigh Fingers is ready to come into the game. Might as well bring him in and try to shut it down, right? Okay, and we're going to keep his fatigue where it is. Raleigh Fingers is fresh and fruity. Let's take a look at what's going on over here. All right, so everybody on hold. We're good. All right, coming up to bat now is Don Mincher. So Don Mincher is 2 for 3 in this game with a strikeout, 2 singles for him. And Earl Batty is on at first. No speed there, so we're not going to check in with Sam. And this one is swung on, batter 2, and this is going to be a ground ball double play. Runners advance, so it's just going to be a 4-6-3 double play. And that ends the inning. How about that? So this game almost over. And I want to thank you guys for coming in. And Mudcat Grant is fatigued, and Johnny Clipstein is ready to come in. So Mudcat Grant's day is done. We're going to allow Chimino to keep warming up. See how he does here. Top of the 9th inning, and the Brewers have the top of the lineup due up here. Molitor, Gantner, and Simmons. Good tight ball game. 3-2 here. Both teams in double digits in hits. All right. Nate says this game is better for streaming instead of playing independent. Yeah, I love this game. I do. I love it. And it just keeps getting better and better. All right, here is the pitch from Johnny Clipstein. And this one is going to be a control 6. And Paul Molitor tries to beat the throw, but he is out on the drop 3rd strike. So 1 away here in the 9th, and it brings up Jim Gantner. Tripled his last time up. Here is the pitch to Gantner. Chimino's ready to come in if need be, but he may not need to be, as this is another strikeout. So Johnny Clipstein, back-to-back strikeouts. All right, I think we are going to go ahead. Let's see what Sam wants to do here. He says yes on the relief pitcher. So we're going to go ahead and overrule him. And we'll bring in Chimino. All right, and he will face Ted Simmons. Here is the pitch. And good call there. Strike out. All right, we head to the bottom of the 9th. This game filled with a lot more drama than the other. Raleigh Fingers looking to send the Twins packing. But he's got to get past Bob Allison, Jimmy Hall, and Rich Rollins. All right, Fingers peers in, has the sign from Ted Simmons, and here is the wind and the pitch. This one hit out to center field. Gorman Thomas circling around it and reels it in for out number 1. Nate ready to celebrate again. Here's Jimmy Hall. Fingers lets it go. This one might be trouble. This is a batter 10, and that is a base hit for Jimmy Hall. So runner on first, and I think we're going to play it conservatively. I'm just curious what Sam wants to do. He's calling for that steal. Yikes. Wow, I hate making these decisions. So, all right, let's just leave it as is. Here's Rich Rollins. And here is the pitch. And this is going to be a batter 9. And this is a single. Runners advance 2 bases. Look out. It's getting a little bit dangerous now. And here comes Jerry Kindle. Not any threat to steal. Does Sam want to go for a pinch hitter here? He does. He wants to go for a pinch hitter. So let's go to the bench and let's look at our batter data here. Let's see who we have. Oh boy. So Joe Nosek was sent into pitch hit in the out of the park game. I do remember that. Frank Quilici as well. All right, let's just go by ratings here. Get away from the pitchers. Well, we got to do it. Harmon Killebrew. Harmon Killebrew is who we're going to bring in. Okay. Seems like a no-brainer at this point. Pinch hit. Jerry Kendall is out and make changes, and Killebrew is in. All right. Here we go. Runners at first and third. Milwaukee leads this one 3-2, 1 out. The killer is up here. That's right. All right, here we go. As Nathaniel says no. All right, here we go. Rolly Fingers is ready to deal to Harmon Killebrew. Here's the pitch. This one hit out to right field, and this is going to tie the game, I believe. Let's see. So hit out to right. Here we go. And this is going to be an F9, and we're going to have a question mark on this. Do we want Jimmy Hall to go? Yes, we do. And he's out. He's out. Oh, my God. The game is over. Big outfield assist. I thought from right field, Jimmy Hall gunned down, and the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers win this one 3-2. They won the other one 6-5. That was really, really fun. Rolly Fingers gets the same. Vukovic with the win. And Mudcat Grant with the loss. Oh, damn. How about it? That was a good game, though. That was fun. Big outfield assist. Come on. Who is not? You're not going to. You got a guy on third. You're going to send him from right and gunned down. Holy Toledo. Yeah, let's save this to the box score replay. And let's look at our score sheet here. Nice and filled out and pretty for us. What an end to a game. That was cool. This was better than the out of the park. The out of the park game had a lot more fireworks, but this one was a nail biter. How about it? Jeez Louise. So she goes, as Ernie Harwell would say. Oh, man. So Jimmy Hall got gunned down. Poor Jimmy. Look at that. 9-2, baby. Out of there. Made it all the way to third base, but what are you going to do, huh? Hey, JT, thanks for coming in, man. I appreciate you. I know it's getting a bit late for you out there, 9:30. I know you got stuff, so thank you. Yeah, 95% chance he would have been safe. Great game, big win for Nate. So, Nathaniel, how about these Brewers winning it and out of the park and now winning in pocket pennant runs? So they will advance. All right, fun stuff, guys. A little action here in pocket pennant run baseball. This was silent baseball night tonight. So with that, I'm going to bid everybody adieu. Nate loves it. I love it too. This game it's just so much fun. It really, really is. I'm thinking, okay, I wasn't going to have him tag if it was set out to left, right? Because these guys are both on B defense out here. The players don't exist anymore, but these guys are both defense, B defense. I'm thinking, all right, right field, send them. And damn, gun down. What an ending to a game. 3-2. 3-11-0 for the Brewers and 2-12-2 for the Twins. And thank you guys for coming in. Borgata. You're more of a Borgata than a Familia, huh? You guys rock. Have a safe week out there, boys. His cousin Ken. I'll be checking Facebooks either tonight or tomorrow, cuz there will be some baseball tomorrow, probably daytime baseball. We'll see, but we will be. Real life, you would have been safe, and this would be a tie game, absolutely. Snow tomorrow there in Cleveland. Yeah, we're supposed to get some cold weather here in PA on Tuesday. They're not calling for snow, but they are calling for some 40-degree weather. So it's not going to stick, Todd. It's not going to stick. Anyhow, thank you to Nathaniel, to Todd, to the heart and soul of this channel, cousin Ken Castro, to the great JT Dutch, such a good friend. You guys are all awesome. Sports Time Machine guys, do subscribe to that channel. Mike's a great guy. Always coming up with awesome projects. Clee Baseball Fan 879. We're going to get Tim on here and show another one of his games sometime soon. Maybe play another game of Strat. That'd be fun. Aaron Reed, the man of 1,000 voices. Thank you, Aaron, for coming in. John DFW, always awesome. He's our creator of Discord and all that kind of stuff. And there's nothing better than being a creator of Discord. How about it? Tessier Ashpool was in here. David Lando joined us for a while at the ballpark, which was super cool. Thank you very much. Thespian Series was here. Thank you, bud, for coming in. It's been too long since seeing you in the ballpark here in Harvard Yard. And I think we got everybody here. No, Bernie Strom was here. And the first one in the ballpark tonight was Cousin Ken Castro. Everybody take care of yourselves. Until next time, see you around the batting cage. So, Nathaniel, these Brewers looking tough, buddy. We'll see as it goes. Good night, guys.